and I'll never back down. In the middle of the ring is where I lay the smack down. Against all odds, I will always prevail. So when you step to me, it's like hell in a cell.
Greetings and salutations, this is Christopher Daniels. I'm talking to my main man Delzinski right now. Any video game show, any video game channel, any YouTube channel called Vintage Shizzle is indeed hashtag Daniels approved.
Yo, alright guys, Delzinski here. Welcome to another We Talk. It's We Talk Wednesday, and as per usual, I am joined by that professor. It is Weeds. How are you doing, mate?
I'm really well, mate. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you this week? Waiting for the game, anticipating the current gen, because I'm not going to call it next gen, because we are in the current gen, of WWE 2K15.
I've got it.
You got it?
Yes, I finally got it. It took a bit of time, but I now have it. And so, yeah, everyone can expect some content coming very, very soon.
Awesome. So what have we got in store today?
Well, today we're going to talk about a few rumours that are going on with inside the wrestling industry. Just a few, because there's some quite interesting ones going on at the moment. And as well, we're going to have a bit of a wrestling roundup when it comes to Monday Night Raw. And then we're going to have some Survivor Series predictions, and we're going to run through the match card as well. So it is a jam-packed episode. And yeah, should we talk about those rumours?
Well, yeah, there's been quite a few circulating, isn't there, this week, particularly if you are a regular viewer of the wrestling website. So where do you want to start? AJ Lee, probably better than anywhere else at the moment. Yeah. There's a lot of talk that she's going to be quitting after Survivor Series. What do you make of that?
Oh, it's just like her husband then.
Oh, don't go there. Well,
yeah.
What do you reckon? Is it legit? Is this just websites trying to add 2 and 2 together, coming up with about 15? Is she finally sick of the CM Punk chants? Obviously, she's recently married. I'm glad you're keeping track of her anniversary dates, like a lot of subscribers on Twitter are. What do you reckon it is?
I can't really see that it's going to be... I can't really see her quitting, to be honest. I think she's probably one of the more important divas that they've got. In a scenario like where CM Punk walked away, they... although he was important, they had guys like Daniel Bryan. He was coming up and coming through. With the Divas division, okay, yes, they've got like a page there. But I think AJ Lee is quite important to that Divas division. She's not a diva, for starters, and that's quite important as well. She's not featured on Total Divas. I don't know if they're planning to do that in the future. But she's
just
not...
see CM Punk rolling up on there.
Yeah, just imagine. But... She's not that way inclined. She's more of a women's wrestler, and that's something that WWE don't have a lot of in regards to wrestling with actual credibility when it comes to the women's division. So I think they would want to retain her, so I don't think they'll let her just walk away like they've done with Punk. And with regards to the CM Punk chants, well, yeah, that probably is quite annoying, because she probably wants to be herself and have her own sort of, you know, she wants them to obviously cheer for her if they can cheer for anything, but that would be annoying.
Maybe we might get, if she is going to go, I think it's only going to be something like a sabbatical. She'll be gone very briefly, because as you say, her and Paige for me are the two most important. I'm not going to call them divas. I'm going to call them women's wrestlers, because they are not divas. At the moment, but I suppose that Nikki Bella match that we're probably going to cover later is going to tell us all if Fearless Nikki goes over. But yeah, I can't see AJ Lee walking away from WWE at the moment. And to be honest with you, for me, I'm one of the ones with the CM Punk chants. Enough is enough now. He's been gone since January. I think it's time to move on. Chanting at his wife. I don't know. Do you reckon she goes home and goes, "Oh, you never guess what they said, Phil. They're just chanting your name non-stop. They don't shut up." I think it's time you gave them what they wanted and they come back. It's not. We've already spoken about it before. WWE doesn't listen, and even if they wanted to try and get CM Punk back at the moment, I can't see it happening. So what do we reckon of that rumor? We're not on board with that one, are we?
No, not particularly. All I'd say is maybe WWE should bring Sasha Banks up to the main roster. I'd like that to happen at some point because I think she's pretty awesome. So if AJ Lee is deciding to maybe take some time off, not necessarily leave, then yeah, I'd say that's quite a good filler or replacement for someone like AJ Lee. I think Sasha Banks' time is now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple, particularly on NXT as well, and I think it's not going to be too long, probably WrestleMania time, where we're going to see Miss Flair coming through, maybe Bayley a bit more permanently on the main roster. So yeah, I think if AJ is going to go, and they've talked about, I mean, the rumors again are talking about kids and stuff. Maybe it will be after WrestleMania, but I can't see them letting that happen at the moment.
You got to think as well, just a final point on this, that CM Punk's obviously just negotiated this deal with Marvel, so he's pretty busy at the moment anyway. So I don't necessarily think that, to be honest with you, she's going to be going off anytime soon. I think he's busy. I think she's.
Well, he's got a paycheck
busy
now.
So yeah, I don't see a lot of substance to this rumor, so it'd be quite interesting to see if any of you guys out there think that AJ Lee is leaving anytime soon. I mean, imagine if she did leave, how devastated Tom Cushney will be. I mean, come on, the guy's got a new dressing gown, he's all happy and everything, he's got his YouTube channel back, he's got his goatee beard on, and then he's not going to have AJ Lee.
Devastating.
Literally devastating. So I've got to say that no, I'm not buying the rumor. How about you?
No, I'm completely the same. I completely agree. So second rumor, but we're going to look at this week is I'm not even going to try and introduce him. I'll let you. You can roll your R's. I'll let you introduce him.
Alberto Del Rio. Oh, there's no roll in there at all, but
no, you kind of limped out that.
You got the O's there. Yeah, Alberto Del Rio. Do you want me to finish it off? You want me to finish the rumor off?
Well, yeah. Well, it sounds... Well, you go for it.
Alberto Del Rio is going to be... Well, not a full-time member of the TNA Impact roster, but Alberto Del Rio is planning in the future, in 2015, to work with two organizations, one of which is going to be TNA Impact Wrestling. Now... Potentially. If this is true... this is quite a big deal for TNA, for a company that is so badly in danger of going bust and going out of business. And
product's got better.
Yeah, product has got better. Then, making an acquisition like an Alberto Del Rio, is a pretty hot prospect. And I actually do think that Del Rio would make a perfect addition to TNA in terms of the way that their companies currently work in angles. I think the Lashley side of things, the aggressive side with Bobby Roode as a champion, Del Rio slots really well into that main event picture inside there. I mean, this is like talking, a bit further on, so maybe he won't be in this storyline. But in regards to the whole roster itself, Del Rio does fit the mold. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe even perhaps replacing someone like a Lashley if he does decide to go and look at other ventures. But it sounds definitely the second organisation's not going to be WWE, is it? You were talking about salary there, and from all intents and purposes, and what you read directly from Del Rio or see from Del Rio, the Mexican wrestlers aren't particularly well thought of, according to Alberto, are they, in WWE at the moment?
Free Ray. Free Ray. Hashtag
no one can find
Ray.
him.
I feel so sorry for Rey Mysterio. I know this is going a little bit off subject, but we'll quickly roll back onto Del Rio. But Rey Mysterio, doesn't want to wrestle for WWE. He doesn't want to be there anymore. It sounds like Del Rio's indicated this as well.
A number of times.
And WWE are like hanging on, desperately, because he's like their only sort of connection at the moment, really, to Mexico. They've botched everything else they've ever had. Del Rio went separate ways. The likes of Sin Cara just hasn't worked. The real Sin Cara, that is. But yeah, you got to feel
not the fat one.
No, you got to feel for Rey Mysterio, and I think Del Rio's been quite open to say, the Mexican guys in the WWE don't get that sort of treatment, and Rey was kind of like a one-off, and they loved that WWE, and they're reluctant to let him go. But Mysterio just wants to return to Mexico and do what he does best, which is wrestle.
Well, he's not the right size, is he, for Vince? And considering him in that pre-1990s, early 90s era with WWE at the moment, what's the point of holding on for him other than they see him as a bit of marketing material?
That's it. That's what he is.
But going back onto Del Rio, yeah, so it sounds like TNA definitely going to be one of them. Well, maybe. And then I think the other one is AAA, isn't it? Which is Mexican wrestling, which is obviously going to link in, hopefully, to GFW for next year as well. So
how the hell does that work in terms of contract negotiations for Del Rio? I mean, working with Jarrett and then working with Dixie. I mean, talk about a clash of heads, or I don't know how that contract negotiation will go, but it'll be very interesting.
Oh, Dixie doesn't run things. She just leaves it all down to Rockstar Spud.
I love Rockstar Spud. He's a ledge.
But no, it will be great. He's obviously said he's going to be working for two potential companies that are going to have regular TV on. So yeah, I hope we do get to see Del Rio again. Obviously not the most well thought of a lot with WWE fans, but an absolutely solid worker. Was great if you wanted him to be a heel or a babyface. Well, I say great, but he could do both of them well. He was just a good worker, really, I suppose. So it's going to be good to see him. We're actually going to see him in December, aren't we?
Yeah, we're actually going to get to meet Alberto, and we're going to get a picture of him, get a signed photo from him at an FPW event. As I said in previous videos, go check them out. www.fpwuk, I think, .com? Something like that. But yeah, go check them out.
.co.uk would be one of them.
I'll leave a link in the description box below anyway to them. But yeah, they've got something coming up, and Del Rio is indeed going to be there. And I'm very much looking forward to meeting Del Rio. I've loved watching some of his interviews in recent weeks. He's very honest. And that's kind of good. I like it when people are honest.
And one more thing that this leads us on to, I suppose, and not for We Talk today, maybe in the future, but obviously he's spoken about how he's going to be working with two companies. And maybe that's what your TNAs, your Ring of Honors, your GFWs need to be doing. It is sharing, and GFW seem to be doing it already with the international links, and TNA have started it with the Japanese organisation they'll be working with. And maybe there's no harm in all of these organisations sharing talent, but to be discussed another day, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the rumour goes, it's a great acquisition for TNA if they can get Del Rio in any shape or form. So for me, if it happens, I'm all for it. Do I think it's going to happen? Yeah. I can't see why not. Del Rio's looking for roles to play in the wrestling industry, and TNA is a good option for him.
So we are both, by the sounds of it, fully on board with that rumour.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that moves us on nicely.
I wonder if everyone else is, but yeah. let us know by the comment spots below. Would Del Rio going to TNA be a good move for him, and would you like to see Alberto Del Rio in TNA? Yeah, if you're in America, you're going to be seeing them maybe on a new network soon. So there you go.
Excellent. So where are we up to next? I think we're on to the wrestling roundup, aren't we? Have you watched Raw this week? What did you think?
Why would you even question if I've watched Raw this week? I always watch Raw, Weeds.
Well, I was just making sure that you made sure that the Grumpy Cat was on it.
3 hours of bliss every week.
Of Grumpy Cat?
Well, I've got to say, the Grumpy Cat for me, like, everyone was like, oh, why has he got a bloody cat on there? I was even like that at the beginning. I was thinking there's only one cat when it comes to wrestling, and that's the cat, Ernest Miller. I'm the greatest.
Ow.
Yeah, so, I mean, when we heard that the Grumpy Cat was going to be on there, and we're not talking about a Bane cat, I like them as well, but the Grumpy Cat, I was thinking, oh, God, here we go again. Another load of rubbish. But I was mistaken, because it was pretty funny, the segments with The Miz, Mizdow, and the old Grumpy Cat. I kind of enjoyed it for a moment, and the cat's facial expressions. I mean,
he can sell. That cat can sell.
He can sell. He can sell better than Ziggler's. It's just amazing. I couldn't believe it.
He had comic timing. He was
he dozed off at the right moments. I mean,
well, when the Miz starts talking, I normally doze off. No, I'm only joking. I like the Miz.
It was good. It was funny. It was something that possibly could have fallen flat on its face. I don't think the crowd liked it originally. They did start booing at the beginning. I think they thought, why the hell have you got me a cat, a grumpy one at that? But I thought it was all right.
You wait until Larry the Cable Guy rocks up next week. You want to hear booing, then you're going to get some booing.
I've heard people like this guy, though. I've never heard of this guy. Should I have heard of this guy? I'm from the UK. I mean, you are as well, obviously. But
thanks for clarifying.
But
is that where I live? I was just checking.
Just making sure. Sometimes you might forget. But it'll
be interesting how he goes over, because we haven't had these guest hosts regularly. And I suppose that's my first question to you. Is this something we are going to start seeing again? Were you a fan of the guest hosts?
I fucking hope not. To be brutally honest with you,
would you prefer to have the anonymous Raw GM?
I'd just rather not have any of it. I'd just rather have a wrestling show.
No way. You want a wrestling show headlined by the biggest company in wrestling at the moment, WWE. You want a wrestling show from a wrestling company?
Yes.
How does that work?
It's not hard to ask, but the GM should only be there to call matches, behind the scenes, backstage segments. I used to like it when people like Bischoff and people like Paul Heyman and guys like that were sort of authority figures. I liked those sort of people being there. To be honest, I don't like special guests. They know nothing about wrestling half the time.
Do you remember any of the special guests?
Yeah, I do, but I don't think he actually called Raw. Jesse Pinkman,
Aaron Paul, yeah.
So I mean, there is why I did that. To Terminator,
Arnie, did he host Raw? This is my point. No one remembers any of them, do they?
The only reason why I knew Aaron Paul was on it was because I was a massive fan of Breaking Bad.
You weren't. It was Need for Speed.
Well, no, I couldn't. I wasn't that fussed about Need for Speed, and that's the thing, is they're on there to promote products. They're not on there to promote WWE. WWE are using that as a little bit of a pushing tool, but ultimately it only really benefits the celebrity half the time. But even then, the crowd don't care, and that's the problem.
I suppose, are we being a little bit harsh?
No.
Should we ask our listeners out there if they have any particular guest hosts that spring to mind that they liked on WWE Raw?
Yes, that would be good to know. Who was entertaining? Who did you like who was a guest host on Raw? Or who would you have as a guest host? I've got someone that I would like to have as a guest host.
You can't have Renee Young.
No, I wasn't going to say Renee Young.
Yes, you were.
She's still getting jiggy with Erick Rowan, so...
No, he's got a pussy... pussy cat. That's it. Yeah, he found a pussy cat this week on Raw.
I feel sorry for Renee.
I feel sorry for the cat.
No, if I was going to have a celebrity guest, do you know what I'd have?
Hit me.
The Disco Inferno.
Yeah, we're back on that, are we?
The Disco Inferno would kick off Raw.
I thought this was a 1 week deal.
No. Imagine it. Disco ball comes down from the ceiling, spins round, comes out, does a bit of disco fever. Perfect way to start off Raw. 3 hours of Raw, kicking off with the Disco Inferno.
We're going to do that. You might as well throw in Ernest the Cat Miller and throw in a little bit of Norman Smiley to ref it.
Alex Wright. Remember him? Alex Wright. And I sound like a Scotsman, and he's not even Scottish. He was like German, wasn't he?
He was German.
He was German, and then he got that gimmick change, and he became like really like. He
was just turned into Drew McIntyre.
That was weird. That was one of the weirdest transformations in WWE. It wasn't in WWE. It's WCW history. That was weird. That was weird.
It was indeed.
But just imagine how good that could be. I mean, Disco Inferno. Hit that like button, guys. 100 likes on the way.
Dislike.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So we've covered the Grumpy Cat, I think, in quite a bit of graphic detail.
Mizdow was great. Mizdow was great as usual.
Mizdow and Erick Rowan took his cat, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are we not touching on Erick Rowan just yet? Are we? I don't want to touch on Erick Rowan at all.
Well, I suppose let's go on then. Was this one of the weakest go home Raws you've seen before a major pay-per-view? I'm not calling them pay-per-view anymore because no one pays for it because the WWE network told us we don't need to pay for it anymore. Get it for $9.99, Maggle.
There's just a lot of hard work on this Raw to try and promote Survivor Series without having a lot of matches building towards it. It was more like we got to drill down on what needs to go on to get to Survivor Series. So, they still hadn't quite completed the team. So there's a lot of focus on who was joining.
It was Lionel Richie. Cena. It was all night long.
So, there was a lot of work that needed to be done, and that took the fun out of Raw. I didn't mind that segment. Stephanie was on form, but in general, some of the decisions don't make sense. Ryback, for one, is still an odd one. It still befuddles me why Ryback's in a main event picture.
Main event player.
And Erick Rowan now beginning to pick up a feud with Luke Harper.
He's got more of a feud with the cat.
That's just blown my mind. There's no explanation for it. We'll talk about that a bit more later, I guess. But
okay, who didn't wrestle this week on Raw?
Everyone,
literally everyone. There was no Cena, there was no Ambrose, there was no Wyatt, there was no Rollins, there was even no Paige. I mean, we literally, you didn't get an awful lot of wrestling. Like you said, we got an awful lot of promos this week on Raw. So I think that's like we were saying, maybe WWE are a little bit worried going into this Survivor Series event. And to be honest, before we come on to it later, there's not an awful lot of matches confirmed already, or is there, on the Survivor Series event itself? So, I mean, what was actually good about Raw? Yeah, the cat. It's going to be the bloody cat, isn't it?
Well, I did touch on one thing that was good, but I still don't understand it, and it was Harper. I mean, Harper winning the Intercontinental Championship.
Poor old Dolph.
Was good. I like that, but then I don't like that Dolph Ziggler's lost the belt again. So
we can't win, can we? Because we've been crying out for them to put belts on any one of the Wyatt family.
Yeah.
Harper, Rowan, or Bray. We were hoping it was going to be Bray and thrust into the kind of the main event picture if you've listened to the previous We Talks. But what does this do, I suppose, for Luke Harper winning the Intercontinental title in a very, I don't know, it's not a bitch-like fashion, but a very interesting fashion where he had Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble obviously beating down Dolph Ziggler in this very, very impromptu matchup. What does this actually do for Harper?
Well, I think Harper can be just as big a heel as Bray Wyatt. In fact, it's almost like it's been turned on its head that Bray Wyatt is working the mid card at the moment, and Harper's got himself in the main event picture. I think it's a massive deal, and you can even class Rowan now in that same sort of frame, but.
Sort of. I'm not sure he knows.
In a completely bizarre way. I think that the push that Harper's getting is truly deserved.
It's warranted completely.
His work that he did in the Wyatts was underrated in terms because Bray took all the credit really. But now he's free.
He's set him free. He's found some gold.
He's just, I just think he was going to go from strength to strength, and I like where he's coming from in terms of. I don't think he's what did he say on one of those guys you can rely on, wasn't it? Did he say that? And I think that's like that whole mentality that you think you can trust me, but you can't, and I like that about someone. He comes across that way that he could be a bit sneaky and devious. He's not coming across thick. Because I thought maybe they go down.
No Erick Rowan.
Well, yeah, exactly, and that's the completely different ends of the spectrum of the way that they went with these two guys. And as I say, it's honestly blown my mind since Bray Wyatt set these guys free. How the hell they've come together to feud? Well, I don't know.
Hopefully feud, and I think this is what we covered last week, where we said Erick Rowan, and I suppose before we go on to that Survivor Series picture, but we'll cover Erick Rowan now a little bit. We were quite worried about the direction that he was going to have because he says I can't find her a week ago, and then suddenly he's found a cat, and he's found John Cena, or he's had his come to Jesus moment, really, hasn't he? Because he's now solidly in that main event picture, and he appears to be feuding with Luke Harper, because they both spent a lot of the time with that final segment pointing at each other, completely out of the blue.
Yeah, but this is the other thing I was saying. I think we said this before we actually started recording We Talk, was when it comes to Rowan, WWE could have done this so well. Like, you know, if they'd not had him chasing Renee Young and doing the pretty...
Was it Renee Young? He could have just been chasing the cat for a bloody week.
But if they had not done any of that, this would be so much better. But on the other side of it as well, when I watched this, because I watched some clips as well from the WWE.com before I watched Raw completely. But when I watched it, I didn't watch it in the exact order. So I did watch the Erick Rowan segment where he came out with Team Cena, and I thought, oh wow, they've actually flipped the switch. So they worked out they were doing this wrong. They didn't want to make him look like a dumbass, so they've decided to put him in the main event picture and, you know, give him a push. And I thought, brilliant. Then I saw the Grumpy Cat segment and thought, holy fucking hell, you have not done that, and you don't know what the fuck you're doing with this guy. So you're desperate, and you've put him in that picture, and that's worrying, regardless or not if he's getting a push, because they don't know what they're doing with him. And he's not credible at all at the moment, because you've got one guy winning a belt, and you've got another guy walking around going, it's pretty. What?
Well, you got to remember the other one that won the belt is a team player. That's all he's actually said to us since he's become a singles competitor.
He's going to be devious and clever about it. I've got a feeling they know where they're going with him. He kind of reminds me a little bit, not as sneaky, but he could be a bit like a Jake Roberts style character who plays a bit of a game. And he likes to play mind games with people, not to the degree that Bray does it, but just in terms of, you know, he'll show up here, he'll antagonize you a bit. The next week, he might play another mind game, a little trick, and be a bit sadistic in it. Not to that Bray Wyatt level, but and he'll stand toe to toe with you and slug it out as well.
So I think what we say is that the Harper push and him getting the belt is good. And we're both glad to quite see that. We feel a little bit sorry for Erick Rowan because as we said, we don't really get the direction. But I suppose the other factor of all of this, you got Harper, Rowan. I just want to get your take ever so quickly on Ziggler. Is he going to get left behind again? Is he going to get buried again? Because he's still, even when we were in the UK and when we went to Wembley, he was one of the, you know, even though he wasn't there, these are what people are chanting for. They want to see Ziggler, and it seems he gets one of the best reactions every week on Raw. So are we going to see him elevated, or are they just forgetting about Dolph again?
Well, that's the problem, and I'm becoming one of those guys who thinks you've dropped the ball so many times with this guy that I'm beginning, and I shouldn't be, because when you watch Dolph Ziggler in the ring, he's awesome, and he sells things brilliantly, and he makes things look good. Alberto Del Rio, in a recent interview on Wrestle Talk, said that Dolph Ziggler is the man in terms of who he thinks deserves to be at the top. He's one of the hardest working guys that they've got. And they should really utilize him, and I agree with all of that. But I think if you keep dropping the ball with him, you might become a bit like me, and you begin to become not that bothered.
Well, he's starting to feel a bit like CM Punk, just not to that level, but you know that you could understand how he could get disillusioned with this quite quickly. I mean, for me, he's still having regularly the best matches.
He had the look, the style, and the in-ring performance to be up there with the best of them. That's the stupidness of WWE, that they'll still go back to a Cena every time they've got this guy here who wants to, you know, push it to the next level, take bumps that he doesn't necessarily need to. You know, he sells like $1 million. You've got that guy there, and then you keep going back to fucking Mr. McDonald. You know, fucking wearing yellow and red hats.
I don't watch SmackDown regularly, and I got a tweet through saying you've got to watch SmackDown this week or from last week. I think it was Cesaro, Kid, and Dolph Ziggler. Obviously, I think it was a 3-way elimination match And you got better than a pay-per-view quality match out of those three. It was absolutely fantastic. And if you haven't watched it, go and find it on WWE.com. Cesaro, Tyson Kidd, and Dolph Ziggler, because that is one of
Ziggler.
Shut up. But that's one of the best matches I've seen recently. And again, it just makes me wonder. I'm hoping, and again, we'll come on to this in our Survivor Series predictions, because of what maybe we want to happen and what we think actually might happen with WWE. So I suppose with Raw moving on again, ever so swiftly, Ryback. Where is the big man? Sorry, big guy going? Don't get his name wrong. You don't like that.
He had it on his belt and everything, just in case you didn't know. He was wearing that Hollywood belt, you know.
Oh, good.
Brother.
Where is Ryback going? Because it seems to be a feud with Triple H at the moment, doesn't it? He spends half his time staring him down.
I've never seen so much focus on a guy that for the past year has been buried to the point of
Ryback was a jobber.
To there, yeah. And now, you would have thought that this guy's of Austin level. You would have thought this guy's of Rock level. How bad people want him on his team. I'd go out and get someone.
Ryback.
Well, I'd go and get someone else. There's plenty of guys. There's the WWE champion still out there who hasn't got a match yet. Book him.
You got Heath Slater dressed as Apollo Creed, hasn't got a match.
It's just ridiculous. Ryback is a powerhouse. Yes, but what has he done to prove that he's a powerhouse? Oh, he did. He ate up the competition when he first come in. Then he just went in a downward spiral and has never come out of it. And yes, it's about re-establishing a character. And yes, they are doing that very well. They're showing that they mean, interest in him. But is he going to continue doing this after Survivor Series? Probably not.
Well, it'll be interesting to see because, as you say,
who's his feud going to be with?
Well, at the moment, you think it's going to be Triple H.
No chance. God does not wrestle for anybody. So...
He don't even wrestle on a pay-per-view where his whole career is on the line, apparently. And this is the most important match, WWE keep telling me, that the Authority and Triple H has ever had. Bollocks. But yeah, going back to Ryback, I think it helped him a lot that he had Cesaro this week. It's just another guy that Cesaro has made look brilliant, isn't it? And I mean, Ryback, bless him, he was blowing out of his arse by the end of this match. And when he surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, got the win over Cesaro, but he made him look like $1 million.
Well, I think you've just answered nearly you've just kind of said what everyone else thinks. If you think about the last two things we've talked about, everything's just arse backwards. Mm-hmm. I mean, we just talked about Dolph Ziggler, and we're talking about him being at the top of the company. He's still feuding for the Intercontinental Championship, but we're talking about him in a main event scene. And then you've just gone on to talk about Ryback, and you've mentioned Cesaro, who made Ryback look $1 million, who worked his arse off. Two guys here that seem to just not be able to be allowed to get to that top spot, or if they do, they have it snatched away. Cesaro had it going into the Elimination Chamber, had the momentum, got it took away. Ziggler won the title, only to have it taken away very quickly. Why don't you just take a punt on these two guys? And they had a match. What was the last pay-per-view that those two went up and Cesaro lost both falls? What was that?
Oh, was that Night of Champions? Is that the last? No, it's one before. We'll have to check it. But
anyway, yeah, that match was awesome, right? So why can't that headline a pay-per-view? Why can't that match headline a pay-per-view? What is the problem of taking the risk, taking a hit on some merch sales? Yes, but
Hell in a Cell. That's what it was. Hell in a Cell.
Hell in a Cell. In the long run, you will establish these guys, and Cesaro is begging to be given a title and given a bit of realism to his character, because they're just losing him week by week. Well, they turn him to fucking Tensai with his attire. What's going on with
Well,
him?
it changes every bloody week as well, doesn't
Yeah.
it? I mean, what was the end of Raw about, though? I got that they were obviously lining up the teams, but why bring Cesaro out?
Because they don't know what they're doing with these guys.
Just to literally, fuck off John Cena. He came out, pretended he was on his side, then went to the Authority side. He's not even on the bloody Authority side. Well, he might be by the end of SmackDown. You never know the way this match has changed.
Is he still a Heyman guy? Because it was never clarified that he wasn't. That's what I mean. It's just fucking annoying that, and you know the reason why I'm getting annoyed, because I like Cesaro, probably one of my favourite guys on the roster, and this is how guys get disillusioned and decide to just walk away because you just can't keep treating them like an idiot.
No.
So frustrating. Agree. It's so annoying. Get it in your thick skull. It's like the Attitude Era. If no one took a punt on Steve Austin to do it, if no one took a punt on The Rock to do it when the days of Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart were up, that doesn't happen. That's where you're at now. Take the punt on these guys and just frickin' do it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I completely agree. But I suppose only time's going to tell with this, and I suppose this moves us on nicely to the Survivor Series, because I know we're going to cover that main event match in quite a lot of detail, I would imagine, because there's potentially with the 10 competitors and the stipulation, obviously if the Authority lose, although that might not be the end of it, we'll have to see after SmackDown actually airs on. Is it still Friday? They haven't moved it yet, have they? But there's not an awful lot of matches on this card, is there?
No. You didn't want to mention the bunny, though, no? This week?
I'm not talking about the bunny this week.
You didn't want to mention the bunny.
Do you want to talk about the bunny?
Not the bunny. Just I thought Adam Rose was pretty good this week.
It was. It needs to finish.
I think Adam Rose actually is becoming the character that I expected him to become. I've expected this for a lot of characters. I expected it with Fandango. I've expected it with any sort of character that comes in that's so ridiculous that you can't believe in it. There is a way to redeem them, and you give them that ridiculousness, but then they have a mean streak. And finally, they've chosen to do it with Adam Rose, and I actually think that it can work for Adam Rose. He could be a really good heel, but you obviously have to get him in the Intercontinental title picture to make him credible. Stop him feuding with a bunny, but the bunny is a good start for him in terms of making him into a credible character. If he just decimates that bunny, if he fucking loses to the bunny at an event, I'd just leave.
It's game over.
I'd just go to TNA because they don't care.
I'll put it in some context for you. My 6-year-old son was watching Raw with me and SmackDown this week, and he said, "Daddy," "Yes, son."
"Are you the bunny?"
No. He goes, "Why is there a bunny in the match?" Because this is wrestling, isn't it? And I was like, you should listen to We Talk, to be honest, because if you're not listening to We Talk, we've covered the bunny in great detail. But yes, you are completely correct. There should not be a frigging bunny anywhere near this wrestling ring.
Talk to your son like that?
Yeah, well, you have to wise them up. Don't you? Brace it for the disappointment.
Your point there, it just sums it up. I mean, like I say, your son doesn't care about the bunny. I don't care about the bunny. You don't care about the bunny. Adam Rose doesn't care about the bunny. Renee Young doesn't care about the bunny. Erick Rowan doesn't care about the bunny.
He's more interested in cats.
Triple H doesn't care about the bunny. Stephanie doesn't care about the bunny.
Someone must care about the frigging bunny.
Vince McMahon cares about the bunny. Vince McMahon loves the bunny.
Yeah, I think that's a different type of bunny, though, isn't it?
God. Anyway, I thought I'd bring the bunny into the conversation. Now I wish I hadn't. So let's move on.
So that Survivor Series card, which, well, for fuck's sake, please do not include the bunny in it. It's not overly stacked at the moment, is it? This Survivor Series card.
No, do you know what it needs? It needs Adam Rose versus the bunny on this card.
if the bunny, well, don't joke about stuff like that, because last time I can remember a concept like this. what was it, the gobbledygooker or the turkey hatched
Gobbledygooker.
out of that bloody Survivor Series egg, and I can just see, you know, put the bunny back in an egg. That's how I see this concept working. But so what have we got? We haven't really got too much of a card, have we, so far?
No, not really.
Shall we cover it?
Yeah. Do you want to run down the card?
Right. Well, I'm sure there are going to be last-minute matches added, and there's already talk that there's going to be a Divas elimination match. Well, we can't cover that because obviously it hasn't happened yet. But I'm assuming that's going to happen. So let's start off with the much used in 6-man and 8-man tag team and 10-man tag team matches if Teddy Long has his way. The fatal 4-way tag team match between Golden Stardust, the Usos, Los Matadores, and The Miz and Damien Mizdow. Where do you see this one going?
Well, I think
Ponder it.
Goldust and Stardust will retain the belts in this match.
I completely agree. Do you see anything actually coming out of this match, though?
But I wouldn't mind The Miz and Damien Sandow picking up those belts. But I don't think so. I think they're leading to The Miz and Damien Sandow splitting up soon because they keep indicating that the crowd loves Mizdow so much that The Miz is getting annoyed with it now. So I don't see them having a reason to pick up the belts and I hope this leads to a Mizdow push, but that for me eliminates them. Matadors just no, and then
they're going to shock the world.
and then Jimmy and Jay, they had the belts too long anyway, so it only leaves a obvious conclusion, and I'll probably be freaking wrong, but it'll be Goldust and Stardust retaining, and that's my prediction.
Let's start this off in really boring fashion then, because I completely agree. I don't think we're going to get the split of Miz and Mizdow in this match, but I think we're going to get the thing that leads up to it the following night on Raw, when I think that the split will actually happen. The Usos, they're the only ones who I think they might put the belts back on. But again, tag team wrestling in WWE it's so underutilized still. And even though they're starting to develop a few teams, they're still not doing an awful lot with it. So no, I see Gold and Stardust retaining.
Yeah, there doesn't look like there's much of an option. So you've got to go with that.
Completely agree. So let's move on to the Divas Championship match. We've obviously got AJ maybe departing Lee and Fearless Nikki. Where do we see this one going?
I think Nikki Bella's going to win the belt.
Ooh. So she could be off then, AJ. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I don't think that at all. I don't think she's going to be off, but I reckon that Bray will play a part in this match, and I think she'll stick it to AJ for sticking it to her on Monday Night Raw. I mean, we didn't talk about that, but
DDT.
But it was a bit cheap to do that. But then again, it was a bit cheap to dress her up as AJ Lee. So
I thought she looked better than AJ Lee.
I thought she looked better. Sorry,
Tom.
You've upset him again. I thought she looked better in that sort of gimmick, to be honest. Like just giving her a bit of personality. Because let's be honest, Bray's pretty dry when it comes to the personality, like her name.
Well, the most
interesting bread.
Cheese. Come on. You obviously you're not you're more a McDonald's man, aren't you? The most interesting thing about Brie is that her tights look like Freddy Krueger's had a go at them, really, isn't it? Are we being harsh?
I didn't notice her tights.
Or the fact that she's married to Daniel Bryan.
I'm still getting over the fact that I just said Brie was a bit of bread.
It's all right. You can put it on.
No, in general, to be honest, I thought she was rocking the fake tan. That was pretty good. But in general, I think in terms of the match and how this will play out, this one, I do think that she will play a big part in this one, and not because she wants to, not by choice, but she will just stitch up AJ Lee because she'll just be getting a bit of payback from Raw.
Well, mate, yeah, that does make a lot of sense. The only thing I can't have is I can't have Nikki Bella running around with the Divas Championship, you know, and that rocking up on Total Divas, and then her flaunting that in my favourite wrestler's face and saying, "Look, John, be more like a man like me. You know, you I've got a championship. Where's your championship?" Can you see her rocking up on Total Divas with that? I know you're a regular viewer.
No, that's going to happen. That she's going to win. I can't see any other way that this match is going. I'm like adamant that Nikki Bella will win the belt at this pay-per-view.
Ooh, let's disagree. I'm going AJ Lee.
Why? What purpose does it bring for AJ Lee to keep the belt? Where does the story go? Who she has to have a new feud? Who's she going to feud with? Not Paige again. So where does she go? Nikki Bella leads to Nikki versus Bray in a match. So that's where it's going.
No, it can't lead because that would be bloody awful to watch.
But that is where it's going, Weeds.
I think we are moving this feud, and it would be good to get both Bellas involved, AJ Lee and Paige. That's where I want to see it going towards. So I want to see all four of them feuding.
I don't really want to see any of these divas anymore. Let's be brutally honest. And they're probably speaking well out of term. The divas division is rubbish in terms of...
Whoa!
No, because you look at NXT and the caliber of wrestlers you have on there, and they're not divas, they're wrestlers.
Exactly.
And that's what I want to see on the main roster. The whole terminology of diva. And I go back to what I said before earlier about Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks is classed as, technically could be classed as some sort of diva. And she's got all these little play on storylines of being the boss and being, what else does she say? Oh, she's not ratchet or something like that. And it's all quirky to be with her gimmick. But overall, she still gets the job done in the ring and she can talk the good talk. Let's go up to this roster, in the current roster, and this match that we've got here, right? Nikki Bella does a good job of selling, yeah? But does Brie do a good job of selling? Can she talk the talk? Can she do the moves in the ring? No. And again, this is someone that they're pushing heavily and for all the wrong reasons. And that's why I think that, you know, when we talk about the Divas division and in terms of a pay-per-view... And AJ Lee's gimmick's getting a bit stale as well. The whole skipping around the ring and she's nuts. She's not that nuts. You know, I just don't buy it.
But that's the reason I don't see Nikki winning, because they've tried and they've filled so many segments of Raw in the last few months with her and Brie, and it didn't really get over, and it got as bad as Jerry Springer even got involved in one of them, and that's the main reason I see them keeping it on AJ Lee, and maybe doing something with Paige again. And so the most I can see happening, if you want to keep all of them involved, is some kind of four-way match. Going into tables, ladders, and chairs.
Can I go really against the grain?
Yeah.
Don't you find Paige a bit boring as well?
No.
Yeah.
I'm not talking to you anymore.
What? It's the truth. Every week, it's the same. It's boring. Come on. I know people would disagree with that. They'd be like, "Oh, Paige is a great wrestler." I'm not questioning that. Questioning that is boring. Keep seeing the same people feuding for the same title. Just have someone fresh come up and take that belt and say, stick it to you lot. Well, no, I think Nikki Bella is probably the most interesting one on the roster so far at the moment, because Paige has gone around in circles about being insane when she wasn't like that before. So that's completely screwed her up quite a bit. And then you've got AJ, who just sticks with the insanity stuff as well. And then Bree's boring. And the rest... Well, apart from Eva Marie, of course. Everyone else just... there's nothing there. There's nothing there.
Who would have thought we'd have spent the most time so far talking about the Divas Championship match?
But it's an interesting topic because of the fact that WWE, again, do not spend enough time or choose not to bring up their talent from NXT to better their current product.
No, totally agree. So, we seem to have gone opposite ends of the spectrum, don't we?
Yeah, you'll regret that next week, just as I regret saying that Brie was a bit of bread.
Right, well, of the four matches we've had confirmed so far, the next is one that I'm actually really, really, really looking forward to. And this is the Lunatic Fringe against Bray Wyatt. Where do we see this one going?
The reason why I think about this because I'm trying to think of what you're going to go for.
I know what I'm going for.
I'm going for a Bray Wyatt victory.
So am I.
Because he needs it more.
He does. He does need it more.
He needs it. He needs it more because Dean Ambrose can. I said this in like another We Talk, I'm sure, but Dean Ambrose can take a loss and keep going. Bray Wyatt can't afford to keep getting buried at pay-per-views. It's not about being buried. This could be the best match on the card and this could steal the show. But if he still loses, people just think, what is Bray Wyatt doing? And it's all evolves around the fact that, you know, Ambrose has had a great feud with Rollins and obviously Rollins has moved up pretty well. Reigns will come back and go into that picture. So when the Shield dispersed, a lot of good stuff happened. When the Wyatts dispersed, although it looks potentially quite good, he's coming out the worst again because look at the structure of this card. The two other guys, for some bizarre reason, have made the main event. Bray, still in that lower section, even though he's had, like the last few weeks, some fantastic promos, and possibly again, this should be the pay-per-view headlining match.
Well, arguably, I suppose if it wasn't for all the stipulations, it probably would be. Like I say, I completely agree with you. Bray Wyatt has got to win this. We can't have him with the amount of time he's been gone and the layoff that he's had. Him coming back in an important matchup between two up and coming future stars of the company. Potentially, and as you say, it is Ambrose that can suffice the loss at the moment. I mean, the thing with Rollins is not finished. I think we all know that. It's kind of got a pin in it for the time being. I see this feud rolling on, probably into TLC, and I can see them having a really good TLC match if they do put that stipulation in it, and maybe into the Royal Rumble as well. At the moment, though, I like you said, and for all the reasons you said, I can't see anything other than a Wyatt win.
No.
The only thing you might get is maybe a no decision, but that doesn't do anyone any favours whatsoever. But the WWE seem to be sneaking those in at the moment. If it's for the good of the company and the good of the brand, I'd go Wyatt.
The only sort of scenario I did think about was possibly bringing up the Ascension and having them doing Ambrose properly, like take him out of the picture for a little while. So, bring in the Ascension with a bang, bring him in at Survivor Series to be like Bray Wyatt's new henchman. I think that might be a nice way to introduce him to the roster. But then again, I think they're still sort of picking up their feud with Hideo Itami and I was going to call him Devitt, Finn Balor. I thought that might be an option and a way to maybe get around the fact that then one of these guys doesn't have to take a clean loss. So.
Just saying that, I was going to say get those four guys on the main roster as quickly as possible, really. But no, so we're both going Bray. It sounds like on this. So we haven't, as I said, we haven't had that many matches announced so far. I think we probably will get a few more, but I suppose that moves us nicely on to the main event of the Team Cena.
Main event.
And now I'm going to announce what the teams are for Team Cena and Team Authority. They probably would have changed again by the time we get to the actual event because they're dropping like flies on Raw. So I assume it'll probably be the same on SmackDown. So Team Cena, obviously John Cena, Dolph Ziggler.
Yay.
The Big Show.
Boo.
Nothing. Erick Rowan
Yay.
and Ryback. Versus Team Authority, Seth Rollins,
Yay, boo.
Mark Henry, sexual chocolate, Rusev, and Luke Harper.
Yay!
So I suppose we've got a few key questions here.
Go on.
Who will be the last two? Well, I suppose let's rephrase.
You know it's going to be last two.
Who do you want to be the last two?
Who do I want?
And we'll move on to who will actually be the last two in a minute.
Well, there's two scenarios. You're going to say one, which I want anyway, so I'll let you say that one. But the other one that I wanted, I actually want Harper and Rowan to be the final two. Just think it would be good to actually, make it worthwhile them feuding with each other. Have them as the final two to really make that feud explode. I mean, could you imagine all of the rest of the guys that have been eliminated around the ring, and these two battling it out for one for Triple H, one for John Cena. I mean, you know, the amount of pressure on these two guys, and that in itself could be a massive thing, albeit that one is going to lose and there's a lot of pressure on that, but I actually think that works really well to elevate these two guys and be like, shit, everything is on these two guys, and these two guys used to like each other.
And it would build to a legitimate feud again between them.
Yeah.
I don't think we're necessarily. I don't
get it.
See that. No.
I don't get it.
The two I want, and again, this is not what we think is going to happen. This is what we would like to see potentially. So Delzinski's given his version. The one that I want is I want Ziggler and Rollins to finish this, and exactly the same kind of, you know, Triple H and John Cena having to rely on these guys who are arguably both penciled in as the future of the WWE. Now, we both said what we want. What are we actually going to get?
That's what you're going to get.
You're not even going to put Ryback, the major push.
No. John Cena will. When does John Cena rely on anybody? The only person that John Cena relies on is John Cena. John Cena will be the final person. I think
going over.
Yeah, winning. I do think they'll win, and I think he'll be pinning Seth Rollins.
Seth, not an interesting feud moving towards Rusev or anything like that.
No. Rusev will go out, and he won't go out looking weak. I don't think he'll get pinned in this match. I think he'll get DQ'd.
Are you expecting a few turns and twists in this one?
I'm just looking at those guys that are on Team Cena. Could anyone turn heel? You could say that Erick Rowan could be that guy.
He could be that guy. Ryback could be that guy.
It could be
even the Big Show, the big baby, the big New Year's baby could be bought.
I mean, come on, for a second, right here, when you think about this. That makes perfect sense, and I haven't even thought about that before. This whole Erick Rowan thing could be a very simple plan that is going to come off in terms of that Rowan is you know, they just think he's come to feud with his former friend. They could have just agreed to have him turn his back on them and stitch them all up.
No, it completely. Because I suppose the most important question here, which we've both brought up in the last couple of days, is if this match is so important and it is for the absolute, you know, direction of the company and everything that Triple H and Stephanie have built in NXT and their legacies, why is Triple H not working it?
He's too busy.
He's too busy, not concerned about his own future. That would have helped this pay-per-view a hell of a lot, but
it don't make sense. It don't make sense. You're right.
I think there's going to be a twist, and that's what makes me think there's going to be a twist. And again, they need something of shock value. I suppose the other kind of fireworks. So neither of us are predicting very big things for Ryback, are we?
He could be
the other big potential firework. Where is the Survivor Series being held? I'm not going to make you answer that because you've already given the answer of Brie as bread. I'm being harsh now. But where it's held, we are in St. Louis. Or St. Louis. I don't know why I called it St. Louis because it's not St. Louis.
You're thinking of Louis Walsh.
I have been thinking of Louis Walsh. St. Louis. Who comes from St. Louis? Well, that is Randall Keith Orton. Are we going to see Mr. RKO at this event whatsoever?
I would hope so. I always thought he was going to be part of the team, but they filled the spot with Rowan. So I'd hope so. But you know what? If Orton does come back, I don't want him siding with either team. I want him to RKO them all and have it as a no contest, and him be the factor that caused that, because that could cause chaos, and it would be like, well, who's running the WWE? So yeah, that works perfect for me.
That's my prediction.
What, that he just spoils everything?
No contest.
I would say to you what your point was about Triple H is very interesting in the fact that when you think of WrestleMania, what was on the line then? Well, it wasn't that much. It was about derailing Daniel Bryan winning the WWE Championship. This is bigger than that. This is about running the company, but he's not willing to get in the ring for this. He's willing to get in the ring to stop Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, but he's not willing to get in the ring to make sure Team Authority stays in power.
I mean, maybe there's going to be more that happens on SmackDown. I doubt it, but maybe, you know, even they have made the odd few changes in previous big pay-per-views, actually going into the card. They made quite a big deal of who's going to be on that pre-show. I think it's Heyman, Barrett, and Fandango. So maybe we will get a few changes on the actual day as well. But it's certainly going to be interesting. And I mean, after this, where does WWE go? Are we going to have our champion turning up again? Because it's literally three Raws, and then it's TLC, and that's your final pay-per-view for the year.
Nah, he's busy. He's busy playing WWE 2K15.
He must have got an early version like you two.
He's busy putting his logos on himself in the game. He's like, oh, you missed one. Oh, you missed me hand gloves. You missed me trousers. Ah, oh, bloody hell, WWE.
Speaking of logos, though, Smack Talks put out a quality version of
He nailed it. He's put out two good things. If you haven't seen them, guys, go check them out. Go check out the Brock Lesnar attire, where he got all the logos. That is awesome. And go check out Smack Talk's John Cena updated attire, where he's wearing his McDonald's attire, which I like to call, or the yellow and the red. I'm not calling it Hulk Hogan attire. It's McDonald's.
Yeah, but they look great, and as soon as I get the game, I will be getting both of those attires. So just to round us off, then I've got no contest. What are you going?
Yeah, Team Cena win. We've Cena AAing somebody and standing tall, just like he always does.
I'm running Raw.
They don't get that. That's not part of the stipulation, is it?
I don't know. Well, someone's got to run it if they win. I don't think they'll win. As I said, it will either be an authority. Not that I predicted that. I think no contest. Randall Keith Orton ruins it all for everyone.
That would make sense, particularly where it's based as well. But you know, WWE, they when you think it makes sense, they don't do it.
Oh no. So I think we've covered everything, haven't we?
We have. Indeed.
That's a lot of information again.
Well, I mean, it is, but there's a lot to talk about. And guys, we got to get your views on all of this. We want you to get involved. We want you to tell us about what you think is going to go down at Survivor Series. So how about you all give us your predictions? We've given you our predictions, what we think is going to go down. So if you list the matches, I'll list the match card in the description box below. If you put against them the winners and the losers, and let us know what you think is going to happen at Survivor Series.
So that's us for another week, isn't it?
It is indeed. I mean, like I say, there was a lot to cover this week. The bunny as well.
The bunny, yes. I know you obviously wanted to talk about the bunny in great detail.
Well, I mean, I'm not being funny, Weeds, but he's a pivotal part of the WWE now.
Well, I'll let you go and make him on 2K15 on that note.
He's in it already.
No, he's not.
He is. He's in Adam Rose's entrance.
Bollocks. Is he really?
Yeah, I believe. I haven't watched it yet, but he is in it. Yeah. Well, no, he will be. He will be because he's DLC. The bunny will be there.
DLC. I only download him if I can shoot him or put him down.
That's rude.
One of the two.
Ah, that's not very nice. Anyway, Weeds, do you got any plugs that you want to do before you go off? And I don't know what you're going to do if you haven't got WWE 2K15. What will you do?
I'm going to wait till Friday. I'm literally going to sit.
Just going to sit and wait.
By my post box waiting for the game to come through. I'm not going to eat. I'm not going to sleep. I'm not going to drink any water. I'm literally going to wait until the game turns up.
I was actually so excited today that when I was on the way home and I was tweeting, I just got on the completely wrong train. And then
congratulations.
I was like, oh, bollocks. I need to get on the other train. So yeah. I was so excited. I wasn't even looking at the what was going on, But yeah, I got home. I'm here, so there you go.
You're going to have a few interesting things coming out this week as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I've got quite a few bits. I'm not going to reveal exactly what I've got coming out, but you can expect some custom attires for some of the superstars on the current roster already. And yeah, my career mode this year, I think we will do a talk through. Quite a lot of people have been tweeting me to play the my career mode hands-on. So yeah, when I do get round to creating the dashing one himself, face scan and everything. He will be there, and yeah.
You look like a child Sami Zayn.
No, I look like the love child of Sheamus and Sami Zayn. That's what's happened because my beard, for some bizarre reason, decides to go ginger, and yeah, I may do a bit of airbrushing just to fix that before we go in. But
I just thought it was a style choice.
What
I thought you were a massive Sheamus fan.
Fuck off. But yeah, I mean, lots of stuff coming your way anyway, guys. So yeah, keep an eye on my channel for lots of WWE 2K15 content. I'm not gonna lie. This game is very exciting in terms of creation stuff. I think there's just a whole world of stuff we can do. So yeah, the YouTube community should be thriving on providing good quality content. So yeah, I guess that brings us to a close. And Weeds, do you wanna say bye to everybody?
Until next week, guys, enjoy Survivor Series. I hope we actually get a decent pay-per-view out of it, but I'm not going to hold my breath. And hopefully by this time next week, we'll have a lot to talk and potentially a WWE champion turning up on Raw.
I could feel the grit and anger in your voice. Potentially WWE champion. Sound like Vince when he swiveled around the back of his chair and went, yeah,
I'm going to kill it.
W. Oh. Anyway, guys, that's enough from me. All that's left to be said is please rate, comment, and subscribe. This is the end of another We Talk Wednesday. This is Delzinski and Weeds.
Bye.
Signing out.